Hello everyone and welcome back to the lecture on enzymes, and this is the fourth part of the video which will include coenzymes. The catalytic activity of many enzymes depends on the presence of small molecules which are termed as cofactors. Most of the coenzymes are derivatives of vitamin B complex. Now we can see this small classification of cofactors. These cofactors are the small molecules which helps this enzyme in the catalysis, and these cofactors are divided into two, that are coenzymes, which are the organic molecules, and metals, which are the inorganic molecules. So these coenzymes are also subdivided into two, that is co-substrate and prosthetic groups. Co-substrate वो होते हैं जो सबस्ट्रेट के संग सबस्ट्रेट की तरह ही एक्ट करते हैं, बट वो सबस्ट्रेट होते नहीं हैं, क्योंकि पहली बात तो वो स्पेसिफिक नहीं होंगे। एक ही को सबस्ट्रेट कई सारे एंजाइम्स के संग काम कर सकता है, बट हमने तो पढ़ा था कि एंजाइम और सबस्ट्रेट स्पेसिफिक होते हैं एक दूसरे के लिए, बट ये को सबस्ट्रेट नहीं होते हैं स्पेसिफिक, और ये एक जगह से रिड्यूस हुए तो दूसरी जगह ऑक्सीडाइज हो जाएंगे, एक जगह से ऑक्सीडाइज हुए तो दूसरी जगह रिड्यूस हो जाएंगे। तो को सबस्ट्रेट का काम क्या होता है? सबस्ट्रेट के संग हेल्प करना, किसी ग्रुप को वो ट्रांसफ़र करते हैं, या तो कोई ग्रुप ले लेते हैं या कोई ग्रुप दे देते हैं, जिसकी वजह से सबस्ट्रेट प्रोडक्ट में चेंज हो जाता है। दे एक्ट एज को सबस्ट्रेट बट आर नॉट ट्रू सबस्ट्रेट्स। The second is the prosthetic groups. Prosthetic groups are the groups that are bound to the enzymes, that are attached to them. In metals, it is also divided into the two parts, the metalloenzymes and the metal activated enzymes. Metalloenzymes simply mean that the enzyme is having that metal and they both cannot be separated. But the metal activated enzymes are the enzymes which do not possesses that metal as its part, but the metal is present in the environment and it is used during the reaction and helps in the catalysis. Although the catalysis is not possible without these metal or coenzymes, but without them they can also be in the free state, but they will be activated once they are in contact with the metal which activate them. So this is a small summary, or a list of the some of the cofactors which are divided into coenzymes and metals. And the coenzymes again are the organic molecules, small organic molecules, and the metals are the inorganic molecules. Some coenzymes are thymine, pyrophosphate, flavin, adenine nucleotide, nicotinamide, adenine dinucleotide, pyroxyl phosphate, coenzyme A, biotin, tetrahydrofolate. As we read here, that most of the coenzymes are derivatives of vitamin B complex, as you can see in the list. The metals are the zinc, magnesium, nickel, molybdenum, selenium, manganese, and these are the enzymes that need these metals for their reaction. Like carbonic anhydrase enzyme needs zinc for its activity. Hexokinase needs magnesium for its activity. Urease enzymes needs nickel ions for its activity. So now this is the classification of coenzymes. It is divided into two groups, that are oxidoreductases and the transferases. So oxidoreductases transfers hydrogen ions, and the examples are NAD, NADP, FAD, FMN। तो ये सब क्या कराते हैं, ये सारे कोएंजाइम्स हाइड्रोजन आयन का ट्रांसफ़र कराते हैं। जैसा कि हमने क्लासिफिकेशन ऑफ एंजाइम्स में भी देखा था कि फर्स्ट ग्रुप वाज ऑक्सीडोरिडक्टेसेस, द एंजाइम्स दैट कैटालाइज द ऑक्सीडेशन रिडक्शन रिएक्शंस. But how this oxidation reaction takes place? This oxidation reduction is made possible by the help of these coenzymes like nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, the NAD, which is in NAD plus, which is in the oxidized form, takes up the electrons and being becomes reduced, and after the reduction it will help the substrate to being converted into the product, and again in some next reaction that NADH will get oxidized and donate its electron, and the substrate will be converted into the product in presence of the enzymes. For this is an example in which this hydrogen ion is being donated to the NAD, and this NAD is converted into NADH. The second classification is transferases. These second group of coenzymes take part in reactions transferring groups other than hydrogen. The first were the oxidoreductases that were transferring only hydrogens, but the second is the transferases, and these transfer all the groups other than hydrogen. Example ATP, which donates the phosphate, CoASH, which donates the CoA. Now this is a structure of ATP in which you can see ATP is having 3 phosphate, but when it donates its one of the phosphate, it becomes ADP, adenine diphosphate, and then it will have only 2 phosphates. Again, on further reduction or further loss of one more phosphate, it will become AMP and will have only one phosphate group on it. So that's all for today, and we will cover inhibition of enzymes in next video, and for which you can get a little introduction. And inhibition of enzymes is of two types, broadly two types: reversible and irreversible. In reversible, we study three types of inhibitions, that are competitive inhibition, uncompetitive inhibition, non-competitive inhibition. Competitive inhibition is the kind of inhibition in which there is competition between the substrate and the inhibitor. Uncompetitive and non-competitive shows shows no competition, but there is only difference of the binding of the inhibitor to the enzyme substrate complex or to the unbound enzyme. The irreversible inhibition is suicide inhibition is the example of irreversible inhibition, and in which there is no reversal, like in the competitive inhibition. When the inhibitor is removed or the concentration of the substrate is increased, the reaction could be reversed. But in irreversible inhibition, there is no reversal. Once there is attachment of enzyme to some inhibitor, then either it will not leave the enzyme, the inhibitor will not leave the enzyme, or would make it unfunctional or non-functional for the rest of the life of the enzyme. Now, biomedical importance, let's take this also. Biomedical importance of enzymes. Enzymes are assays for diagnostic and prognostic purposes, जैसे कि AST, ALT, ALP, ये सब हमारे लिवर एंजाइम्स में आते हैं. लिवर फंक्शन टेस्ट के लिए बहुत हेल्पफुल होते हैं. स्टडी ऑफ आइसो एंजाइम्स. Enzymes, physically distinct form of the same enzyme activity, is usually useful to understand diseases of different organs as in myocardial infarction, CKMB, जिसका एक बहुत अच्छा एग्जाम्पल है जो कि 3 फॉर्म्स में होता है, CKMM, CKMB एंड CKBB. जो CKMB होता है, it is increased in myocardial infarction and it is specific for myocardial या myocardiopsites. So it is increased in myocardial infarction. And enzyme inhibitors are used as drugs like statins, methotrexate. Statins are cholesterol lowering drugs which are competitive inhibitors, and they competitively inhibit the HMG coenzyme HMG coenzyme reductase enzyme. And in preserving blood samples, जैसे कि फ्लोराइड is used for estimation of blood glucose. Thank you so much. And if you like the video, please do like the channel, do subscribe the channel and share as much as you can. Thank you so much.